So Alonzo, you know who Alonzo, the All-Star advisor? He's my financial advisor. 500,000 in the bank with him. Go talk to him. Y'all respect him, right?
Salute, folks. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor, Alonzo Hall, and I've returned today to Weapon Tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Before I go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, or to schedule a one-on-one appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So today, I'm going to be talking about auto insurance because another content creator, a Dr. Dunbar with Big Discussion 76, as well as Big Discussion 76 Science and Technology and Sports. Please go follow all three pages. Wonderful gentleman. Actually had tagged me in a post because he is experiencing something that a lot of my clientele has faced throughout the years. So as some of you may or may not know, not only am I a financial advisor or a financial professional through the life, health, accidental, and financial insurance, but I also used to own an Allstate insurance company, which is a property and casualty. Luckily, I actually have a little bit further knowledge of property and casualty because I've also done not just personal lines, which is, like your regular home and auto, commercial lines, which would be things like business, home, and auto, but I've also done surplus lines, which is, sometimes hard to place, or even like specialty things like supercars. For example, most of the big name companies that State Farm, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, will not insure things like a Bugatti or a Ferrari. Those are supercars, and you need a surplus lines carrier for that. However, in light of what's been happening recently, a lot of people's auto insurance premiums are going up. So what I'd like to do today is share with you guys a few ways in with which you can do a couple of things to save yourself on some premium. So very, very easily, one of the things that you can do to immediately save yourselves on some premium has nothing to do with the car or the bells and whistles on the car, but it has something to do with you as a person. So your education level will actually have the insurance carrier decrease your premium. The higher your education level, the bigger of a discount, if you will, the insurance carrier will give you. So if you're a high school graduate, you're likely not going to get any discount. And if you have a doctorate's degree, you're going to obviously get the highest possible discount that any insurance carrier will have. You want to make sure that when you speak to your insurance agent or broker, that you make them aware, hey, I have X degree, because your level of education absolutely matters. So then the next thing that you'll want to look at when you're looking at auto insurance and ways that you can save premium are a couple of things, or a few tricks, I should say. One of those tricks is your deductible. A lot of people like to have a low deductible, like a $500 deductible, because they don't want to have to come up with a lump sum of money in the event that you have an incident. However, a great way to save money on premium is to have a high deductible. The higher the deductible, the lower your monthly premium. The reason and the thought process behind having the very high deductible is because it's going to be a lower premium. And what are you going to pay more often, your premium or a deductible? Unless you're an absolutely terrible driver or you have the worst luck on earth, you're going to pay your premium substantially more than you pay a deductible. And the idea is that what you save by not spending a lot of money on premium, you'll save on deductible. So, and you can save for deductible, I should say. So what you can do is, jack that deductible up to $2,000, and that will actually lower your monthly premium. Another great thing to do, and this will probably be the last tidbit for today, but it's very important. I may drop 2 or 3 more tidbits in this video, actually, because there's a lot that goes into it. But one of the major things is, regardless of if you have liability only or what they call full coverage, and I'll go deeper into full coverage because a lot of people think they have full coverage, but all they have is enough to what's called indemnify or make whole the bank that you're financing your vehicle from. But one of the easiest ways to save yourself on premium has to do with your limits of liability. So I'll base these on New York numbers. New York state minimum is 25, 50, 10. Well, what does that mean? That means that the insurance company will pay up to $25,000 per person outside of your vehicle that's in the accident. They will pay up to $50,000 for the entire accident. So if there's 4 people in the accident outside of your car, because the people inside of your car don't get covered by your limits of liability. But if there's 4 people in the accident outside of your car, and all of their injuries come up to $25,000 each, which would be $100,000, there's only going to be $50,000 paid out. Now, the trick to this is to actually do something by increasing your limits of liability. When you increase your limits of liability, the minimum you should have them at is 100, 300. And then property damage really doesn't matter, but usually it's 100, 350. So that additional number, like I said, 25, 50, 10, the 10 is the insurance company will pay up to $10,000 for property damage. This is damage that your car does to someone else's property, whether that be their car or the fence on their house. So if you increase your limits of liability to 100, 300, you will, obviously, initially, it's a little bit more expensive. However, upon renewal, you end up not getting an increase because the insurance company now sees you as what's considered a responsible payer. And as a responsible insured, they're less likely to have to go through subrogation or frivolous lawsuits where they're going to win, but they have to pay an attorney to go to court and say, hey, this guy is suing for $50,000, but the insured only had $50,000 of coverage. We've, made good on our contract. So what you can do is, if you're with a current carrier, you increase your limits of liability to 100, 300, and keep it there for at least 30 days. After that 30 days of 100, 300, if you go shopping around, you will actually find that your premiums will be less expensive than even starting at the state minimums. A lot of people end up shopping around often with state minimums, and they end up almost cutting off their nose to spite their face. So the best way to do that is to go to 100, 300. Another great tactic for saving on auto insurance premiums is twofold. One is to actually have multiple vehicles. When you have multiple vehicles and you insure multiple vehicles, for one reason or another, and mainly because the insurance company is realizing that they won't have to shell out money for a rental, if you have multiple vehicles but you have more vehicles than drivers, or equal vehicles to drivers. So if you have 2 vehicles, 2 drivers, or 2 vehicles, 1 driver. Because the insurance carrier understands, God forbid something happens to vehicle 1, you, the insured, will still have access to vehicle 2. Another great way to save money on your auto insurance premiums is to actually bundle. Now here you have to be careful because a lot of carriers do not do certain types of insurance. For example, Geico does not do homeowners insurance. So if you get a homeowners policy with them, they're pushing that risk out to another company. Carriers like State Farm, Allstate, I believe Liberty Mutual as well, actually have their own homeowners policies. I know Allstate and State Farm definitely do, and those are two of my favorite. Obviously, I have an affinity for Allstate because I owned one, but I, to be honest, probably have an affinity the most for State Farm. I'll speak some negative stuff about State Farm in the future, but for now, we'll keep it there. So, make sure that you bundle your auto and your homeowner's insurance. Now, this is for people who have assets. When I say you have assets, this is usually clientele who, has at least a $75,000 to $100,000+ annual income. They have a vehicle, and they also own a home. In those situations, you can actually increase your limits of liability, especially if you're a professional in certain fields. You increase your limits of liability to what's called $250, $500, and then $100 for property damage. Obviously, you're considered even more of a responsible insured. Yes, initially the premium will be a little more expensive than if you did $25, $50, or even $100, $300. But again, because the insurance carrier knows that they're not going to have to go through subrogation if they have $250,000 for someone or $500,000 for an entire incident. What that also allows you to do is bundle even further. The beauty of bundling even further with your auto and your homeowner's insurance is, as a professional, you would get something called an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy is additional liability. So usually you'll see real estate agents, doctors, lawyers, stockbrokers, judges, things of that nature, who will definitely get umbrella policies if they own a home. Generally, it's an additional $1 million of excess liability coverage, especially in the litigious world that we live in today. And you'll have that additional coverage, and bundling all those things together will help to decrease your premium. So I don't want to go too long today on this video because I tend to rant sometimes, but that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. With that being said, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.